Let's get serious.
Let me go. Let me
Serious.
know when I clap.
Let's get serious.
Whenevs.
Off. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk About Sex here on XFM 100.2 with me, Melanie Kelly. And today in the studio, I have my lovely blonde guest. Why are you laughing? You're blonde.
I know. Well, we're both very, very blonde today.
No, wait, hold on. First of all, welcome to the show, Emma Hogg.
Hello.
Because I haven't even said your name. And second of all, be careful when you say we're both very, very blonde, because you know the insinuation of the blondes.
Yeah, but whatever.
But you mean aesthetically.
Aesthetically. It's all the sun-kissed, no?
Yes,
it's all summer sun,
aesthetically,
blonding us up.
Because the brains are there. Definitely. So, Emma, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me back.
You're very, very welcome. I meet a lot of guests in the street who tell me, when there's that girl that you're with, and they would have seen you on, because obviously for all our listeners out there, I put up all the clips on YouTube, and also you, Emma, put them up on your page. So obviously they know what you look like.
Yeah.
So they tell me, there's a blonde girl who comes on the show. I'm like, yes, Emma Hogg. Oh, you're really good together. You sound good
sweet.
together.
That's nice.
So, yes, they are the only reason I bring you back. No, that's not true. That's not true. I love
Plus
having...
you love me.
No, I love you. I love having you on the show.
I love you too.
Besides, I believe you have a lot of great information for our listeners. And today we're going to talk about a topic which does not necessarily, not everybody has been through it, or has experienced it, or is experiencing it. However, I believe that knowledge is key in this world, and what we are going to talk about, it might not be something that is affecting a listener now, but it might affect them later on, or a partner.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Interrupt me, because I'm saying some silly thing here.
No,
Okay.
you're not saying anything silly, because most people think that it only happens to some people, but the truth is it happens to all of us.
At one point in another,
At
yes.
one point or
I was
another.
actually reading your
Exactly.
notes, and you are so right, Miss Hogg. So yes, I go back on what I was saying. So yes,
that
I
wasn't
believe...
a rewind at
No
all.
way. But we'll pretend it was. So Jacob, no rewinding there, huh? That's our editor. So we are going to talk about performance anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay. And the question is, why do I have sexual performance anxiety, and what I can do to overcome it. But before we start, I'd like to remind our listeners about my Facebook page, which is Let's Talk About Sex on XFM 100.2. And there I upload all the clips. So if, let's say, you're in the car now and you're like, oh no, I want to listen to all of the show, then you can go on the Facebook page and you can follow us there, like the page. And, you can see us, rewind. And if anybody would like to get in touch with Emma, all you have to do is, contact me on that Facebook page. So, Emma, first question, which is, I think, the basic question. What is performance anxiety?
Okay. So, like, when we hear about performance anxiety, we hear about, like, the symptoms usually, right?
Yes.
So we hear about, like, erectile dysfunction. Okay. And I love the word because it's so ridiculous a name. Like,
Okay.
as though you're always supposed to get an erection, no problem. And if you don't, then it's a dysfunction, which is just ridiculous.
I think men have a lot of pressure there, don't
Yes,
they?
big time.
Yes.
And then you hear about premature ejaculation, which again,
Okay.
like premature, okay, maybe it's unwillful, not premature, like maybe it happened when you didn't want it to happen. But whatever.
But we're labeling it.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You know me and labels.
Yes.
I'm not a fan.
Not a fan.
Not a fan. But you know what's really interesting? So I was looking up, these different, dysfunctions, whatever. The ones for men have names, and then the ones for women, it's really difficult to find a medical name.
They don't have a name. That's very interesting, actually.
Yeah. So, like, okay, I'm going to be crude here, but, like, the way that it comes up for women is, like, not getting wet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, having, like, a really tight vagina.
I think that's called vaginismus, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay.
That
Okay. So we
has
have a name. We have a name.
We have a name.
And then like there are symptoms that happen to both men or women,
Okay.
which is like the pain, during or after sex.
Okay.
Okay, or like not able to reach orgasm, so you can get hard or you can get wet, but it's difficult to actually
Orgasm.
exactly.
Okay.
Or the most subtlest of symptoms is avoiding sex altogether.
Okay. So these are the symptoms of performance anxiety.
Yeah.
So they would actually avoid sex because they're so anxious about it.
Exactly.
Ah.
Exactly. And maybe they don't realize they're anxious, but sort of maybe somebody gets a headache every time there's the opportunity for sex, or they find they get into a really bad mood and they'll start like picking at their partner, kind of thing. So it will just become like an avoidance behavior.
So it's at the back of your mind. I get you. So it's like, okay, I'm sure we've all done this before when your partner wants sex and you don't feel like sex. So you create an argument.
Yeah.
So that you can go to bed and sleep and not talk.
Yeah.
This is not what I do.
Oh, my back's really hurting, oh.
Yes. So, okay. So that is also avoidance. I understood that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, like performance anxiety is whenever sexual desire or sexual activity is interrupted.
And it is interrupted by any of the above that we mentioned, which is erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation, or the women is not getting wet, or vaginismus. Okay, so you've got the desire for sex and it is interrupted because of your sexual performance anxiety. Okay, so how common is it? Men, women?
Okay, so it happens to everyone at some
Okay.
point or another, like we just said, and you might not realize what it is, because it's different to like an anxiety attack kind of thing. I mean, some people will have a full-blown anxiety attack during sex, but it's more like
The symptom of stress.
exactly.
And sometimes I can say that for myself, I would be, there was a time, now I become aware of when I'm stressed, but there was a time that I would be really stressed, but I wouldn't realize that this is not
Exactly.
sexually
Exactly.
connected, but a lot of people don't realize how stressed they are.
Yeah.
So I can understand you being sexually anxious and not realizing, however.
Exactly. No, it happens to everyone, and for the main reason that connecting with anyone, like reaching out for connection, is always an anxiety-producing experience.
Because you're risking
Because you're risking
getting hurt.
Exactly, getting hurt and being rejected.
Being rejected.
It's in the same way, Mel. Sorry,
Yes,
I'm like
yes,
jumping in.
yes.
In the same way that like when we, like when you walk into a bar and there's loads of people and you walk in on your own, it can make you feel a bit like
Insecure.
Yeah, like
what
everybody's looking at me kind of
I
thing.
actually love it, but anyway.
okay, but you're hot, right? So it's different when you know you look good.
Sorry.
What? Sorry, own it. It's good.
Yeah, I like it.
It's good. It's a good thing. But
Yes, but I get you when you feel
it's like that kind of thing. So when you're one-on-one, right, and you're like naked, it's even more intimate. So
you're at
there's
your
even
most
more,
vulnerable.
Exactly. So it's normal that there would be anxiety. Like it happens to everyone. The time when it becomes like problematic is when it becomes like a habitual response.
Okay, so what you're saying is that it becomes problematic not when it happens once in a while, but when it happens every time or every other.
When it's really interrupting your ability
Yes.
to be intimate. If it happens and you're like, even if it happens often, but you know what to do with it, that's fine. But if it happens a lot and you don't know what to do with it, and then it becomes this big problem between you and your partner, then it's a problem.
You have to solve it. You have to see how to get over it.
Exactly.
Do you think that maybe this affects men more than women, or maybe is it because it is more recognizable in men?
Yeah, I think you just hit the nail on the head. So I think it happens to both just as much.
Okay.
In men, you can notice it more because there are the signs like more clearly.
You can see it.
You can
yes,
see it,
yes.
like, right?
And with women, let's say if a woman is not getting wet enough, there are products that she can use.
Yes.
So in a way, it's fixable, but with a man.
Yeah, she can kind of get away with it, kind of thing.
So I always used to think, and I still think, that there's a lot, when it comes to sex, I think there's a lot of pressure. The pressure on the man is more than the pressure on the woman.
Tell me more.
That's what I feel, because a man is expected to perform. And I don't agree with that, because when you're having sex, you're two people. But I think from what we have seen throughout the years on TV and all around us, it's like, how the man has always been deemed the stronger one, the one, and it always feels like the man needs to perform.
Yeah, I think that kind of we're expected to perform different roles. Like the man is supposed to always get hard, be ready, kind of be strong.
Yes.
And for the woman, it's more okay to be passive. It's more
because
okay to be vulnerable.
Because also she's at the receiving end. So it's like the giving and the receiving. So again, even the verbs, when you talk about them, giving and receiving, when you're giving, you are the one who's making the effort. You receive, you just...
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Yeah,
I'm not
no, and in
it's
fact,
like
we, as women, we carry so much sexual energy that we're excellent initiators, and men need us to initiate sex. Not all the time, but a lot of the time as well. So it's good for us to be active.
Yes, of course. I believe that a woman needs to be very active.
Yeah.
But yes, set aside. I was, it was just a thought that I had. I said it must be very, very. I do understand the sexual performance anxiety in men. This need to perform, which stems from the society that we live in.
Yes.
The culture.
Although I think the need to perform with women is becoming stronger as well, that kind of porno, like that explosive orgasm, kind of it's.
In fact, I would say the millennials, would be more affected by that.
Yeah.
Because they are the people who have the phones,
they've had access to it all the time.
So obviously they've seen it. They've porn nowadays is very easily accessible.
Yeah.
So, and as you're saying, they obviously see it, and the woman is becoming more and more active during intercourse. So.
Yeah.
So yes, I can imagine that the woman, unless she explodes when she orgasms, then it's not great sex. I can imagine.
Yeah, there's that pressure.
Especially the younger ones, when I say.
And if it's not explosive, it's almost like, was that okay?
Yes.
Was good enough?
I think, to be honest, as time went by, and as I repeat with the millennials, it's become, and also even my age, and I'm not a millennial, but obviously I'm bombarded by a lot of things around me. I think sex is given there's a lot of pressure associated to sex. And whereas once upon a time it was just two people getting together to connect, and the stress was not on how long it lasted, how big, how small, how the acrobatics, whatever involved, it was about that. Now it seems like it's a grand, every time needs to be a grand performance.
Well, I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense, because it's like we're living in the Tinder society, right?
Yes.
Where it's like hookups,
Yes.
kind of. So we meet to do it, kind of thing. So and when we rush too fast, the connection sometimes is missing. So then it becomes a sort of
physical,
invasive, without the connection kind of act. Yeah.
Yes. So sexual performance anxiety happens most in a couple who have been together for a while, or a couple who are just starting out.
Oh, it can be both. Whatever.
So you're saying that, for example, I could be with my partner for a good 5 years, and all of a sudden I get sexual performance anxiety?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, totally.
But would that be because I would be stressed elsewhere? For example, I'd be stressed in my work, and that's where it comes out?
It could be. I mean, okay, so let's think about the word anxiety, right? because that's what it is at
Of
the
course,
end of the day.
Of course.
So anxiety on a physiological level is so anxiety is fear, basically. I mean, there are nuances of difference,
Okay.
but they're physiologically they're the same. Okay. Now, anxiety is also has the same physiological response as excitement.
Okay.
Okay.
Explain.
Okay. So
Wait, hold on. Before you
okay.
explain, we've run out of time.
Oh
So
my
we're
God.
going to stop for a short break, okay? Because
Okay.
I think this is very interesting and I want to listen to all of it and I want you to explain it properly because that fear has the same, what did you say?
Physiological response.
Effect as excitement. I want to hear all about that. So we're going to stop for a short break and a song. And we'll be right back with Emma Hogg and Melanie Kelly.
Ooh.
Welcome back, and this is Melanie Kelly on XFM 100.2 with Let's Talk About Sex. And today in the studio with me, I have the beautiful blonde Emma Hogg.
Hello.
And we are talking about sexual performance anxiety. And my initial reaction, Emma, was, oh, this doesn't happen to everyone. But upon second thoughts and your feedback, yeah, you were right. I think it does affect a lot of people. I don't like saying everyone because it's too generic,
Okay.
But it does affect a lot of people at one point or another. So we spoke about how it affects men and women. And you were about to start telling me all about what anxiety is.
Yeah.
So, take the floor, baby.
I take the floor. Okay, I take the floor. So, anxiety. So we were saying that anxiety has the same physiological response as excitement. Okay. So when you think about energy, because at the end of the day, we're all energy.
Yep.
So, anxiety is you have a need, okay, and the energy wants to come up and out, okay, because whatever we want in life, it starts from within us, and we need energy to bring it out. We need to become active to create what we want.
Okay. So this
Okay.
is the knot that you feel in your stomach. That's the energy
It
that
could
needs to come out.
Sure. Yes. So it could be like that feeling in your stomach, like the nerves, the butterflies before you go on stage.
The
or
shortness of breath. And
Exactly.
in fact, once you do it, it's over. It came out. kind of.
Yes, because you managed to get it out.
get it out.
Now,
Okay.
what's happening
Okay.
with anxiety is that it's getting trapped.
Okay.
Now, why does it get trapped?
Why does it get trapped?
Okay, so it gets trapped because there will be some beliefs, okay, that don't support the energy to come out. So,
I understand. So if you are about to go and sing on stage, right? So you've got the anxiety and it gets trapped because voices in your head tell you, oh, you're not good enough, that note is not going to come out well.
it might not be conscious, you might not be like,
You're
the
thinking
belief
about
might
them, of
not be
course.
in your mind at that moment, but it's like kind of it's part of your mental schema, it's part of your experience of life. And the thing is, we all have these fears. This is how I know that anxiety happens to everyone. I know it sounds general, but it does
Yes,
happen
of
to
course.
everyone.
Yes, definitely.
So every human being has these two fundamental fears. Okay? One is, I'm not enough.
Okay.
And this comes out in different ways. I'm not
Yes.
pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. That person is funnier than me. That person's smarter
Better
than me.
me.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if, then I won't be loved. So if I mess this up, I'll sound like an idiot and I won't be loved, right? So before I come on the radio, like if I say something stupid, then
People will not
people
like me.
will lose respect for me or whatever, and I won't be accepted, right?
Okay.
And the reason that we all have these fears are because we need these fears biologically. They're wired into us because we need each other to belong.
Interesting. Because otherwise we would all head our way and nobody needs anybody.
Yeah, we need each other. We need each other for food. We need each other for finances, right? I can't make money if there's nobody who wants my service. I need other
course.
people.
Yes.
We need each other for friendship, for
family.
connection, for family, for sex. We need each other. We need
Yes.
each other for our species to continue.
To continue, of course.
So biologically, it makes sense that we would fear the loss of belonging.
Okay. I'm also thinking in my head, obviously, if we had no fear, absolute no fear, I would think that we'd be all jumping off a cliff,
Exactly.
risking our lives.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
fear is also an inbuilt mechanism that keeps us safe.
How cool is that, no?
Yes, for sure.
That there is something
Yes,
within us that protects us.
Yes. In fact, an aside, when you drink too much alcohol or take drugs, that fear is, the defense mechanism is kind of disappears, and that is why you do silly stuff.
Exactly. I mean, that's why people drink in the
Yes,
first place,
yes.
because socializing
Becomes
produces
easier.
anxiety.
Yes,
Why?
yes.
Because we
Shyness.
fear rejection, because we
Okay.
all want to belong,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So this is what's happening in performance anxiety. I mean, we have sex because we want to connect.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, okay, sometimes people will say, but it was just physical. And yeah, okay, maybe there was a physical connection and you didn't really know each other. But at the end of the day, you're still connecting, right? So you're still looking at the other person. You're still looking to see, do they like this? Do they not like this?
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
If
you
you're
know?
if you tell me no, as if like I'm only doing it for
Because sometimes
to get off,
Yes,
kind of thing.
sometimes I wonder with all this porn around, especially I wonder about the youngsters, whether when they have sex, they're actually, wanting to connect with somebody or just
Yes,
going through the motion of it. Because sometimes,
Yes, and if you're going through the motion and it's only about you,
Yes.
like, okay, or so maybe you don't realize it's all about you, but if you're not trying to connect,
then it's
you're
all
not
about
gonna be a good lover,
of course.
you know?
I spoke about this with Ken when we spoke about touch, because it's very important. Because if you're all about you,
Yeah,
as you said,
exactly. So
Yeah.
even if it's just physical, it's still about connection. The purpose of having sex is to connect.
So you were saying that excitement, that anxiety is similar to excitement.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. So we would have a belief, right, that shuts the energy down.
Down.
And doesn't shut it down. It takes it away. It just keeps
Keeps
it
it there.
within.
Okay.
In Gestalt psychotherapy, we have this word. It's called retroflect.
Retroflect.
So
Retro. Okay.
exactly. So you can think of it like the energy is coming up, okay, and then it sort of bounces off your inner being, like kind of, and it
Okay.
goes back in, and you.
And you stay there and you remain anxious.
Yes, because this energy needs to come out. So what does it do? It starts creating this shake within you, right?
Yeah.
And so this is what's happening. So basically what you need to do to overcome performance anxiety is to understand the fear behind it. Understand that it's a fear of losing connection, right? Because once you understand it, then you have choice. You can change the belief.
So you're saying that once you become anxious, then the symptoms would actually be either premature ejaculation or erectile dysfunction, or you get completely really tight. A woman gets really tight.
Exactly, because like the fear response is gonna go off, right?
Yeah.
And there are two ways that we can respond to fear. Okay, so
Fight
one,
or flight.
there's the fight or flight, but I'm thinking about, yeah, it's kind of like fight or flight actually. So look, if you're driving down the street, okay, and a car comes out of a side road
yeah.
suddenly, your fear response is gonna go off, and you're automatically gonna hit the brakes.
Okay.
Right. So that's your fast boom response.
yeah.
Okay, and thank God for that response. Okay. Then there's another form of fear response where something happens.
Freeze and you don't know what to do.
No, not that.
Sorry,
Not
okay.
that. Don't worry. So where something happens, okay, that's scary, but there's space before you respond. Okay, so this is where your prefrontal cortex would become engaged. Okay, because the first fear response, it's
It's like instinctive.
It's instinctive, so it's the
Okay.
reptilian and the emotional part of the brain that are going,
Okay.
oh my God, what's happening?
Okay.
Okay, so then there's another form of fear response where once that calms down, you go into thinking.
And you can think about a solution in a very short period of time.
Exactly. So, for example, if you've gotten into a car accident, you can go, okay, are they hurt? Am I hurt? Do I need to call an ambulance?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
You start
rather
to come
than-
up with
rather than
solutions.
yes, and there are people who do not have what you just described.
Exactly.
The ability to be able to go into that.
Well, this is what practices like mindfulness do,
Yes,
right? Like
yes,
meditation.
yes,
It's all
yes.
about creating that space.
Yes.
So it's not that you'll be in a car accident and you'll go,
Yes.
what shall I do? No, you'll still slam on the brakes,
Yes, yes.
but
yes.
you'll have that response.
Yes.
Now
There's an
that space
awareness.
before the
Yes,
response.
yes.
Exactly.
The
awareness.
Yes.
So
I don't know if this describes it, but I go like in a bubble. Like, for example, my son, I know has nothing to do with it, but my son, when he was younger, used to choke a lot. So, for example, he'd be eating pizza, and then all of a sudden would choke. And my husband would just simply freeze. And I would literally, I mean, once I was alone with him, and I remembered while he was choking, which is a matter of seconds, I remembered what my sister had told me, that when he's a toddler, you have to grab them from the legs and put them upside down, and the gravity will take care of it. So the people around me in the restaurant, nobody came to my rescue. And when my son was choking for about 5-6 seconds, that's a long time. And in that 5 seconds, I thought of what my sister had told me. I grabbed him from the ankles, pulled him upside down. People thought I was mad, but immediately, poop, the mozzarella which got stuck came out. So is that what you're describing, that moment where you can actually think?
Exactly.
Where you're lucid.
That's the second response.
That's the second response you're talking about. Okay.
And that comes with the awareness. So when you think about performance, that's a brilliant example.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Makes it clearer.
I love lots of stories.
So when you think about like performance anxiety, it's about creating that awareness, right? So the fear underneath it. So I'm not enough, which could be anything. It could be I'm not as sexually free as his ex. If I don't get hard, she's gonna think I don't love her, and I'm gonna lose her. Okay, so it's some version of I'm not enough, or if then I won't be loved. Okay, and once you understand those, where your anxieties comes from, you can breathe, take a breath. Okay, and then you have choice over how to react. The energy doesn't just become stuck and you go into the first fear response where you're, you
stop,
and your body just goes, oh my God, I can't handle this, erection gone, or oh my God, I can't handle this, vroom, vagina tight.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is the first response. So what you're saying is that there needs to go into the space of thought, what you're saying, the space of awareness.
It's not so much thought, but it's about knowing.
The knowing.
So Ansi, it's less about thought and it's more about connecting. Because that's
you're saying this
why,
word very often today.
Yes.
Connecting.
Yes. Because this is what we all need at the end of the day. Like children who don't have love and connection die, or seriously suffer.
Yes.
So, and adults as well.
Yes.
What we all want is love and connection. What we all want is to belong. And we fear it when it doesn't happen. So the anxiety comes up when you're about to have sex, because it's like the pressure's on, because it's a moment for possible connection. And if you screw it up, it could be taken badly, right? You could lose the other.
Yes, because then the other would make it all about himself, possibly.
It could be, right?
Let's say if you get very tight and you can't have sex, he is going to think she doesn't want me, doesn't love me. Exactly. So it could end up a mess, right? It's a vulnerable situation. Very vulnerable, and I can imagine that it is not easy for the couple or the person going through this, to actually take a step back, think about it, maybe talk about it.
Exactly.
Okay, so how can they overcome it? Okay. I mean, I know you've been talking about this first response, but how can it be overcome?
Okay, so you need to connect, you need to be fully in the moment, right? You need to be with your partner, okay? And that means to fully be present means to own your experience, okay? So if I'm anxious, I bring it to you. So I don't bring it to you like, oh my God, I can't take it. Like, okay, maybe it will happen like that, but it's not about shifting responsibility. It's not about making the responsibility yours, like you did something that made me anxious. No. It's just about, I'm feeling anxious in this moment. Can you hold me? I'm feeling anxious in this moment. Can we slow things down for a second? Can we hold hands for a second? I just need to connect, you know? And it's like, for men, this might be really difficult because there's this.
I can't imagine a man saying, I'm feeling vulnerable, can you hold me? With all fairness to men, but I think it's a bit of a far cry to
it's a challenge for them for sure, but it's absolutely necessary, because the thing is, if you don't do it, like I'm gonna touch you, okay? If I touch you,
me, baby, touch me.
Okay, and I'm
oh, your hands are cold.
They're always cold.
Hey,
and you're warm. So
I'm always warm.
So okay, let me give you a different example, so I don't make you cold.
Okay,
although I'm enjoying it.
It's fine.
If
lots of touching going on here.
If you're getting a massage.
Okay. Love massages.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But okay, so imagine, okay, so you're getting a massage and the masseuse is like really relaxed, in the flow, really there to give you and serve you, okay? You're gonna feel that. Your body's gonna go, oh, okay, I feel good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's say you're getting a massage and the masseuse is stressed.
I had that once.
Okay.
I could actually feel she was in a hurry.
Okay.
And I
there
did not enjoy it.
Exactly.
Because it was like, you could feel it.
Exactly.
You could feel it.
So this is what's going to happen
Hey,
if you're experiencing performance anxiety. Why, thank you. If you're experiencing performance anxiety and you don't own it, you don't bring it to your partner, they feel it.
Yes, okay. I get what you're trying to say. So even if you don't talk about it, your partner is going to feel it.
Exactly.
Just like I felt you, that messer. Yes, you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, all that money for nothing, man.
Yes. No,
yeah.
I don't really pay, but anyway.
Okay.
Okay, listen, I'm going to have to stop you here.
Okay.
Because we're out of time. Again, we talk so much.
I actually forget that there's like a time limit.
But then that's why there's me, you know.
Yeah, thank God for you, because I'd just be like, blah, 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 blah.
So anyway, we're going to stop for a short break and another song, and we'll be right back, and we'll continue talking about performance anxiety and how to overcome it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to where I stopped you, and you were talking about bringing it to your partner.
Exactly. So owning the experience, okay? Because remember, so the energy gets trapped within, okay? The excitement.
The excitement, the anxiety.
So you bring it out, okay? So, it's a risk, right? Like we were saying before, it could be misunderstood. But the more you use your words, the more you communicate, the less potential there is for misunderstanding. So if you say, you know, I'm feeling anxious, I need to slow down, and you can stay close, you know, like kind of, if you're scared your partner is going to misinterpret you, kind of don't shut them out.
Don't shut them out. Don't push them away. So you kind of show them, listen, this is not that I don't want you. It's how I feel at the moment.
Yeah. And just ask for what you need, you know, like oh, I need us to just lie down next to each other and hold hands. Like I need the pressure to be off for a bit, you know?
How about if it's a man?
How about if it's a man?
Because I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, I don't think a man is going to say, hold my hand, please. Not that there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think men, as much as possible, they don't like being vulnerable.
No,
or
but
being
this is
seen as vulnerable.
Yes, but this is where men need to challenge themselves, okay? Because what's happening by not sharing is they keep the energy within, okay? And that makes them feel in control because they're not risking, they're not vulnerable, but there's a disconnect.
Yes, then they disconnect.
Exactly.
Withdraw.
And their fear remains. They haven't overcome shit.
And they remain with their erectile dysfunction.
Exactly. So if you want to be a manly man and overcome fear, okay, bring it. Risk it.
We
right?
challenge you.
Because this is where growth happens. Remember the very first show we did together when we were speaking about growth
Yes.
and uncertainty?
Yes.
So it's risky because you're putting yourself into a situation of uncertainty. You don't know how your partner is going to react to this, to your vulnerable side.
Yes. Yes.
But you cannot grow individually without risking. And as a couple, so what I mean individually is what I'm saying is you cannot overcome this anxiety. You cannot overcome this habitual response without being vulnerable. Okay? Acknowledging the fear.
Because if you acknowledge it, you're automatically being vulnerable.
Exactly.
You're putting yourself in a position of vulnerability.
And then your partner can respond because they really see you.
Yes.
They're not seeing your mask, right? They're not seeing you in this role of I've got it all together, which, to be honest, nobody really connects with.
You know what I also think? I also think that us as humans, which is the beautiful part of humans, and I see it a lot, is that, and thank God in Malta especially, we're still very much like that when something happens to someone, we all rush to help. So you'd be walking out in the streets, for example, and everybody seems to be minding his or her own business, but the minute something happens to somebody, you see, it's like us humans are programmed that when a fellow human is seen as vulnerable, we immediately go to that person to help them.
Yes. And I
see that a lot.
And also, when someone is vulnerable with you, it lets you know it's okay to be you, because you're imperfect as well. We all have these fears. Every single one of us. I mean, the person who walks in like they absolutely don't, they probably have the fear even more than anybody else. Perfection is too much for us. Like, we can't connect with perfection because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So yes, if you want to overcome it,
you need to show your vulnerability.
Yeah.
And then
bring it.
Hope that your partner comes to the rescue.
Not comes to the rescue. So be careful with this, because
it's there for you.
Is there for you because your anxiety is your responsibility.
I get you.
Always.
I get you. Your anxiety can't be shifted on your partner.
Exactly.
Your partner just needs to be there for you.
They can be here to give you love, but it's not their responsibility to take away your anxiety, like, ever, in any situation.
Okay. It is your responsibility.
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to talk to me about jealousy?
I think that's a good place to go.
Okay,
so I was thinking that because we tend to not want to admit our fears, right? Because for this exact reason, that it puts us into a vulnerable position, okay?
Yes.
And when we're playing the part that we have it all together,
yes,
and someone rejects us, big deal, because they didn't really see us.
Yes.
But when you're vulnerable and you allow someone to see that and then they reject you,
that hurts.
That really hurts.
Yes.
Okay? The thing is that we are more likely to create the situation that we fear when we don't acknowledge what we're fearful of.
Explain.
Okay. So let's talk about jealousy.
Okay.
Okay? So jealousy is also the fear of loss of love.
Yes.
So,
yes,
if I'm at a party and my husband is talking to this bombshell of a woman, yeah?
Blonde?
Okay, let's say he's talking to you and I don't know you. All right?
Okay.
And I feel jealous.
Jealous.
Okay.
If you really think about it, why is it that you feel jealous? Because she can take him away from you.
Exactly. Exactly. So, if I go straight into my first fear response, okay, which is
shut out.
Stimulus response. Okay, and we all have different ways of doing this. You go and punch her
or him.
Somebody might do that. Somebody might wait until he, gets back to you and then says, we're leaving this party now. Or the
blonde gets water on her hair.
or that, right? And then you go, for example, but let's think about
Yes.
this. Let's
But
go
yes,
into this
yes, yes.
experience of jealousy, right?
Yes.
When you're sort of overcome by
By jealousy,
um,
which is
You-
called the green-eyed monster, and I see why, because then you sometimes you literally you can't see beyond it.
exactly. And you start to act from that place, right?
Yes.
You act from that place of loss of fear. And biologically, we will do anything to prevent loss of love.
To keep what's ours.
Exactly.
Okay.
What's ours? Not that
Yes,
they belong
of
to
course,
us,
I
but
get you, but
exactly
yes.
loss of love.
Less of love.
So the behaviors that people go into
They get angry, they want to leave the party.
they shout at the partner, accuse them of being unfaithful,
Yes.
go through their mobile, go through their emails, check the stuff all around the house.
Yes.
Now let me ask you,
Yes.
does this behavior draw your partner to
Close
you?
or further away? Definitely further away.
Further away, right?
Definitely.
Because
So
nobody wants to
I
be...
get you. So you are actually, your fear is actually making you create your reality.
Exactly. It's creating the situation you don't want. And it's the same with performance anxiety. If you don't acknowledge and you stay in that space of needing to keep it all together,
then you are going to continually, day after day, occasion after day, recreate it.
you keep like, it's unclear.
So what we're saying here is that if you have sexual performance anxiety, you don't own it, you don't acknowledge it, you don't sit with your partner, connect with your partner, tell your partner about your anxiety. You don't expect them to save you. You don't expect them to rescue you, but they show you the support. If you keep that mask on and keep that anxiety in, what you are scared of the most, which is either erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, whatever,
and that they
happens,
could, that
you will
they
keep recreating it.
You keep recreating it, exactly. And it's the loss of connection that you fear. So
Yes.
if you don't take the risk to connect,
you're not
gonna-
going to connect.
and in fact, this is what most people do on a daily basis, right? We sacrifice belonging for fitting in.
Okay.
Okay, so fitting in is, I don't
Okay.
tell you what's really happening with me. I don't tell you how I really feel. Okay, because I don't want to cause any.
You don't want to
the-
impose. You don't want to.
I don't
cause
want to create any conflict.
Conflict.
For example,
I get you.
okay. To belong is to be seen as you really are, how you really feel. Okay, this doesn't mean I feel this way, so whatever. Like, but still with love and respect, you know. And you're accepted for that. Yeah, and you accept others as they are.
Yes.
And when you don't give yourself the space to admit how you feel, to own how you feel, you are forcing yourself to fit in as opposed to belong. So you are not meeting your need for connection. You fear the loss of connection, yet you never allow yourself to meet it. You never allow yourself to have it fully. So you settle for this like subpar, version of connection, which is not connection.
Yes.
Connection is I see you. I see you with
It's
your...
like a superficial version of it.
Exactly. We fit in.
We fit in.
We fit in together, but we don't really like
Connect.
understand each other. You know? And it's not that you have to understand every single thing about your partner, but we connect when we look at each other. And I see you. And I see you when you're not perfect. And you see me when I'm not perfect. And, you know, I can say, I really screwed up there. You know, and I'm sorry. And thank you. And I love you. And, yeah, I'm anxious. And, you know, this is belonging.
Actually, yes, belonging. It's ultimately being also true to yourself, in the sense that if you feel that you're anxious and you're communicating that, you're also being true to yourself.
Exactly.
Because you're not putting on the mask of, I'm all right.
The first place that belonging starts is within you.
Is within you. Okay.
Yeah. It's when I know that I belong with me, that I'm not going to abandon me because I make a mistake, that I know that I'm a good person even when I mess up. That's when I can really belong with somebody else. Because then I can bring that to somebody else. It's even when you mess up, you still belong.
Yes, because I believe also that if you live in a world where I don't know, you never mess up, okay? Or you live in a world where you are always in the right. And there are people, I know people who always believe that they are always in the right.
Yes.
They can never see you.
No, exactly. And you never see them. And
No.
and how do you want to be with this person?
I mean,
You either
far.
exactly. So you either move away
Yeah.
or you get super angry and you fight
Yes,
back.
exactly.
Yeah. So again, there's no actual seeing.
Yeah, the two words that, I'm going away with after the show are actually the one word, I think, is connection. I think connection and belonging.
Yeah.
The two words that really, they strike me, because I think they are the anchor of a relationship, what keeps it stabilized, what keeps it there.
Totally.
So how, now that we have understood all this, so how can we respond to it?
Like in that moment when it happens?
Yes.
Okay. So if you notice it happening, okay, you can, one, acknowledge it's happening and that it's okay that it happens to everybody, you're not messed up, there's nothing wrong with you, happens to everyone in some version or another.
Okay.
Take a deep breath, okay, come back to your body, because what happens with anxiety is that we're
Go
very
to your
much in our
head.
heads, so we're
Okay.
with our thoughts, and
Okay.
in our thoughts,
You get
nothing's
lost.
real,
No.
nothing's real
No.
up there.
No.
So come back to
To
where
your
you are,
body.
right? And not just your body, but look outside you as well. So look within you and acknowledge what's happening. Okay, maybe I'm anxious. And look outside you. See your partner. Okay, acknowledge their presence. Because when you look at someone, they're less scary.
Yes.
Okay, so it's really about acknowledge, own it. This is yours, and it's okay. And communicate it. And communicate what you need. Not just that you're anxious and this is out of your control. Ask yourself, what do you need? This is within your control. It's your anxiety. The anxiety, it's just a physiological response. It's a physiological response within your body. So just ask yourself, what do I need right now? What would ground me?
And I believe that everything that we have said today is, okay, we spoke about sexual performance anxiety, but I think this goes for performance anxiety in general. In general. So exams, interview, going on stage, new job, friends,
Yes.
I think it actually owning it, belonging, connecting with, I think it's all valid information for all round. It's all round. So,
Totally.
time has run out again. So I will definitely look forward to having you again on the show.
Thank you, Mel.
And the next time you'll be here, we'll be on at 7 p.m. rather than at 9 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
So I look forward to that too. Good night, everybody.
Good
and
night.
we'll see you next week.
Bye.